Right guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Simon and this is My Football, Your Soccer. Today we'll be talking about the latest transfer gossip in the EPL while England are away on duty. There's a good chance of me going off on a couple of little tangents, so let's crack on and get stuck in. Right guys, you know you're in for a treat when I've ironed my shirt ready for my video. Right, big news here is Chelsea are weighing up a stunning move to bring back Lukaku back to Stamford Bridge this summer if they're unable to sign Haaland from Borussia Dortmund. The teenage sensation Haaland has emerged as a big target for the manager Tuchel, but Dortmund have reportedly slapped a £154 million price tag on him, which might be even too much for old Chelsea resources. It goes on to say down here, about Lukaku, the big Belgian who joined Chelsea at the age of 18 back in 2011, was unable to convince a handful of managers that he was good enough for first team Premier League football, pretty much. It goes on to say Lukaku has proven himself to be one of the top forwards in Europe, having netted 87 times in 166 games in Merseyside before securing a £75 million move to Man United. So the main question here is really, has Lukaku matured enough as a player to come back to the EPL? I mean, that's the question I'd like you guys to answer in the comments below, because his record this season is very good. At Milan, he's got 19 goals in 26 games, compared to, obviously, to his last season at United where he just scored 12 goals. I mean, this is a massive subject that probably doesn't get discussed as much as it should, and that is what makes the Premier League the best league in the world. And the answer is because it's the toughest. The pace of the game is the fastest. Also, we have the best defenders in the world playing in this league, so it makes it a lot harder for strikers to do what they want to do, and that's banging goals. So when you do get strikers that are consistently good in the Premier League, they have to be up there with some of the greatest strikers to have ever played. They have to be up there. The likes of Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, Zola, Shearer, Drogba, Rooney. You know, the list goes on. And these don't get a look in when that GOAT status is thrown around. These are the players that made it in the Premier League and are still spoken about today. So Lukaku coming back to Chelsea, he has to be put in that bracket. If he's good enough to come back to Chelsea, he has to prove himself that he's one of the best strikers that's played in the Premier League. Because if he isn't, then why sign him? Why risk it again when he hasn't proven it in the past anyway? I mean, you know, he's Chelsea, West Brom, Everton, Man United. His last season at Man United was not a good one, which is why he left and went and played in Italy, where it's easier to score goals. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to hear from Man United fans what they thought about him at Man United. But if there's any Chelsea fans out there, well, I'm sure there is, let me know what you think about this news, because apparently he's the next best thing to Haaland. He's the next option. So let me know what you think about this one, guys. Alright, and on to the Liverpool transfer news, which is Luis Suarez could rejoin the Reds if Mo Salah is sold. The former Liverpool favourite has been scoring regularly for Atletico since his shock departure from Barcelona. But he could make a sensational return to Liverpool if Mo Salah leaves. This summer he's had interest from Barca, Real Madrid and PSG. Jurgen Klopp wants to recruit an experienced goal scorer ahead of next season, having seen Bobby Firmino and Sadio Mane both struggle to replicate their best form. Right, this is an interesting one because obviously Liverpool need, well, not only a backup goal scorer, they need a goal scorer at this point. Now, talk of this will only happen if Salah moves. PSG are probably the only ones with real money at the minute. They're after a few players. Pochettino wants to bring Lloris from Tottenham to PSG, but I think Tottenham are reluctant to let him go. So their PSG rumours are this week they're looking at the young, outstanding Leeds keeper. But the big teams in Europe are all looking at Haaland, and the big question is Mo Salah consistent enough to be labelled a world-class player and be signed by these big clubs in Europe? At the end of the day, only one team can sign Haaland, So for these other clubs looking for the next best player, you know, Salah has to be in the mix. If you go and buy last season performance, I mean, Liverpool have looked shit this year, to be honest. But me personally, I think the main reason, and it's known that the reason Salah, Mane get these goals, or last year scored a lot of goals, was very much to do with Bobby Firmino. The link-up play through Firmino is just out of this world. He flies under the radar, Firmino. The guy is pure class. Obviously not your classic number 9 striker, but why does he need? He doesn't need to be, because he's bringing in the attackers to score 20 plus goals. Salah, Mane last year, 20 plus each. So you don't need to be that kind of number 9. Whereas if you're bringing Suarez in, he's going to want to bang in 20 goals a year for himself, which means you're going to be losing goals from, well, especially Salah, not Salah, Mane, Jota. Suarez is going to want to come back and prove a point, and I just can't see him sitting on the bench. So let me know what you think, Liverpool fans out there. Would you like to see Suarez back, or would you like to see them spend their money elsewhere? Right, now, moving on from Liverpool, we move to Tottenham, who are always in the news. And this is a purely gossip, but it's a big question. He was asked a question about his future at Spurs whilst out on the England duty, and he's pretty much said, I think that's a hard question to answer right now about his future at Tottenham. I think it's an hard question to answer right now. It's important that all my focus is on the 2 England games. And that is pretty much all he's said. And then this gossip, well, yeah, this has all come out now from the media. And it's just blown up. But it is a good question. It is a question that a lot of people have been asking. Alan Shearer was talking about this yesterday on TalkSport. And the question is, does Harry Kane need to leave Tottenham? I mean, at the moment, he probably is one of the best strikers in Europe anyway, if not the world. But to move his game forward, does he need to leave Tottenham? For me, it is an absolute no-brainer. He has to find a club that's going to take him to that next level. And just Spurs just ain't it. He's got to the stage now where he's doing everything that is needed for Tottenham. He bangs in the goals like last year for Pochettino. He was their main man. He plays a slightly different role under Mourinho. Still pure class. His assist stats are through the roof. And as England fans, we'd love to see him, I think, in a PSG shirt, Real Madrid shirt. I mean, can you imagine him at PSG? Playing alongside Neymar and Mbappe. Jesus, that can only do well for England and their chances next year in the World Cup. I watched England last night against Albania. They won 2-0. They look good. The youngsters look good. They've had that extra year to prepare for the Euros. Obviously, if we'd have played it last year, Kane wouldn't have been playing. He was injured. Rashford was injured. So the writing could be in the stars for England this year in the Euros. I mean, they've got to be the favourite. I know we say this every fucking year, but they've got to be favourites going in to at least get to the finals. And then we build on this competition then. We go to the Euros, we do what we can, but the big goal has to be the World Cup next year. And for England, Harry Kane moving on from Tottenham and becoming the number 9 for one of the biggest teams in Europe is just gonna make England fly. And it's going to help them youngsters. I mean, you're going to have these youngsters, they're still young boys. Foden, Rice, Mason Mount. I mean, Sterling, he seems like he's been around forever, but he's still only 27, 28, whatever he is. And he's looking like a mature player now. He's last night anyway, he looked good, he looked sharp. So talk to me, guys. Comment down below what you think. Does Harry Kane need to leave Tottenham? Not just for him, but the World Cup prospects of England next year, winning a World Cup. Right, this is the last one for me, because this is a... Look at the boys. Look how happy they are. Ollie Watkins, what a lad. I wanted to give him a big shout out, big congratulations to him, making his debut for England and scoring. He was very emotional after the game, and that's what us England fans want to see. We want to see that passion playing for England. His story is brilliant. It's like your Vardy's, and Mikel Antonio's. I mean, the lad was playing non-league football in 2014. 3 years later, he was named EPL Young Player of the Year before joining Brentford. In 2020, he was the Championship's top goal scorer and Player of the Year. And then Watkins joined Aston Villa at the start of last season for a club record fee before making his debut for England on Saturday. He scored within 20 minutes of coming on. Great story, great lad. Would have been a tough choice between him and Bamford for Leeds, but yeah, I've watched him a few times this year, and every game he grafts, man. He puts in the work, and he's being rewarded for that. And that's what's good about Southgate. He does reward you if you put in the effort, if you look good consistently. He's going to call you up, and that's only good for England, man, moving forward. Right, guys, that's it for me today. Thank you for joining my video. This is what I love. This is what I enjoy, talking about England, talking about the EPL. So please comment below if you like the video. Let me know your support, where you're from in the world. And I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.